In this episode, we are going to discuss how to see wealth or money in palmistry. If you have this sign, you should consider yourself a lucky person. So let's get started. Before starting this video, I want to make an announcement that most of you people are not subscribing to my channel. Only 10% people are subscribing and 90% are not. So please subscribe the channel so we can grow as a community. So there are many combinations of wealth or money in palmistry. But today we are going to discuss the most common signs in hands. When we talk about wealth in palmistry, mounts become very important. And rich people often have 5 developed mounts in their hands. After mounts, the fate line becomes very important. But there is a catch here. Most people have identical fate lines. But the quality of fate lines varies from person to person. And I never see any hand in my life that matches any other person. And remember one thing. Mounts represent person abilities and talents. And fate line represents how a person will utilize his abilities and talents. That's why you need both things in your hand. If you have good mounts but bad fate line, it means that the person has talent. But when it comes to utilizing those talents, a person doesn't know where and how to utilize their talents. I will make a different video on this topic of what is different between mount and lines. But now let's discuss money combination. First and most obvious sign is if a person has silk type lines in their hands. It shows that the person who whatever he does always think big, and silk type lines are always thin and deep in the palm. To see how much success will person have, you need to see the condition of the fate line. Most of the time rich people fate line reaches to mount of Saturn, and this combination only works if your fate line is present in your hand and the fate line should be silk type, otherwise this combination will not work and represent something else. Second sign is if person has 5 developed mounts in his hands, which include Jupiter, Saturn, Sun, Mercury, positive Mars and mount of the Venus. But some people have other variation too. But in general, 5 mounts considered good. You can see it on your screen now where these 5 mounts are located in your hand. Why these 5 mounts? Because Jupiter shows your desire and leadership qualities. Saturn shows patience and stability in life. Sun shows brilliancy and honor in life. Mercury shows communication and planning skills. Mars positive shows how much risks you are willing to take, and Venus shows comfort and luxury in life. And you need these qualities to become rich in life. Third sign is if person has sun line in his hand. You can see on your screen now how sun line looks in your hand. The sun line always run parallel to the fate line. That's why the sun line is sometimes called the sister line of the fate line. Whenever this line appears in hands, it shows that the person will be successful in his financial goals and will live a comfortable life. The fourth sign is if person has a trident on the fate line. You can see on your screen now how this sign looks. The easy way to judge this sign is this sign always split into 3 branches in the end. This sign shows that person will live a comfortable life and will attain high social status in his life. Fifth sign is if a person has money triangle in his hand. You can see on your screen now how this triangle looks. This triangle shows that person will earn lot of money in his life and will live a very comfortable life. I already made a video on this triangle. If you want more details, you can check in the video description for the link or click on the iCard button for more information. Sixth sign is if person has fish sign in his hand. You can see on your screen now how this fish sign looks. Easy way to judge this sign is fish sign always found at the end of the lifeline. This sign shows that person will live a comfortable life and never run out of cash. The seventh sign is if the person has a long finger of Mercury. You can see on your screen now how this finger looks. The easy way to judge this finger is this finger always above the first phalange of your ring finger. It shows that person has extraordinary skills in communication and writing. This sign also shows that person's financial life will be stable and the person will earn lot of money through communication and writing. That's why you often find long finger of Mercury in the hands of writers and actors. In the conclusion, if person has these signs that I talk about here, that person will live a comfortable and wealthy life. But keep in mind that the first two signs should be present in person's hands, otherwise the signs I have talked about have no meaning. These two signs are like a foundation. If these two signs are missing in person's hand, their other signs have no meaning. And the most important thing, most people have different signs on both hands. If any sign is present on both hands, it shows 100% success. For example, if person has a sun line on the left hand and no sun line on the right hand, it shows that the person had desire to become a famous and rich. But when it comes to action, that person becomes lazy. Both hands are important in palmistry. If the person is left-handed, then the left hand becomes most important, and the signs he has in the left hand become more important. For the right-handed people, their right hand becomes most important. But you can't predict anything without seeing both hands, because the active hand holds 80% of the power when it comes to the success, and other passive hand hold 20% of power. Just like in astrology, you can't predict anything from just a birth chart or D1 chart. For any conclusion, you need to see Varga charts or divisional charts before making any prediction. And same goes for palmistry here. You can't predict anything from one hand. You need to see both hands to make any final prediction. And these signs that I talk about also have variation, and I don't want to discuss every variation right now, otherwise this video will be 2 hours long. We will discuss in the future with the details, so guys, don't worry, just stay tuned. And remember one thing, everything can be changed by the blessing of God. May God bless us all and fulfill what our heart desire. In the next video we will talk about fish sign on hand, so please stay tuned. If you like this video, please click the subscribe button and press the bell icon, so you will never miss out any updates from Hal-e-Qismat. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ali and this is Hal-e-Qismat, and I will catch you in the next one. Allah Hafiz.